guys don't get to see too often. I'm up on top of the dry lake, and it is really windy. But there's the wet lake, so you can kind of see the difference in height. It's probably a good 10 feet higher, but I'm just checking the gearbox. So, looking at, we have a spare, like this thing's been up here for a while, so we might switch it out. But we're just checking to see if the shaft size are the same. So, but it's belt driven off of an electric motor. You know, and every now and then we have to keep an eye on these belts to make sure they're still spinning, obviously, and not ripped off or whatever. But you can really kind of appreciate the height we're at when you kind of look down at the trucks like that, and then you look over my pickup and the tractor and ripper. I mean, we're way up here. That's usually the view you guys get when I'm standing over there. So I am gonna work my way down now. Yeah, so that's the leg I was up on right there. It is, I should have mentioned it's Monday, September 10th. And we got the 8970. It's hooked up to the wil-rich 7-shank ripper. And just kind of looking that over, and looking everything over for that matter. And the points where, well, they could have, 5 of them could have probably made it a little bit longer. 2 of them were well shot. So we pulled them all off just so we don't have to mess with it mid-season. And then, excuse me, we just had lunch. Some of the tines on the harrow here, pulled them off. They're broken. A couple of them like the springs will break if they really get caught on something. And then a couple of them, like in the middle, for example, or if it's the one in the middle, you have to take that one off because you have to slide the whole bar this way to drop the middle one. So obviously that one has to come off too. So in some cases we had to take off more, but got them ordered, and a bunch of stuff ordered for the bean head through Shoop. So we got all sorts of parts coming for this. Not all sorts, but some sickle sections, some poly for it to go, slide against the ground on. One other piece of poly at the other end, and a couple things for the corn head is back yonder. So that's getting a couple parts coming. Once we get the combine back, hopefully in a couple days, from getting a rotor gearbox put in, we'll be able to pick the corn head up, look it over a little better on the bottom side, and then we're gonna probably have to place another order into Shoop with some corn head parts to get that thing geared up. Just kind of getting things ready because it's gonna sneak up fast on us. So I'm actually gonna pull this out of the way, and I might drive this a little closer, might just leave it parked right here. This needs to get its duals put back on and some front weights put back on. And then what I'm going to do is, one, the whole cab's got to get swept out. And 2, I'm going to unhook all the cables from the back side of those monitors. All those monitors and control boxes get put in his basement so they're not in the cold all winter. And I'm going to try to roll those wires up nice in the back corner of the cab under the seat and coil them up and zip tie them up or something so they're out of the way. And then just pull that whole bar that we put in there of control boxes and just take it all out of there. It's not in the way, but it's kind of in the way. I know I'm kind of contradicting myself, but pull that out of there, and then just kind of looking at a few things. This thing, I cracked it somewhere when we were riding down that frozen ground last fall. Yeah, we were picking those beans. It was like 40 degrees, and then it got below freezing at the end, and it was snowing the last night of picking beans. So metal on frozen ground, something's got to give, and chances are it'll be the metal. So and then we got the bracket here. We're going to try to beef that up. The design they have for the aerial, it's poor, so, or at least whoever built it on this head, it was pretty poor. So we're going to rebuild it and beef it up, and then get the aerial back on there. But yeah, we're just in gear up mode right now because it's going to come within, I think you'll see guys in our area in the field picking corn in 2 weeks, maybe even less, than up in the north of us, about 10 miles. But us, it's going to be at least 2 weeks, probably closer to 3 weeks, 4 weeks for sure. In a month, you're going to see us in the field. So it feels like a lot. It's hard to not feel overwhelmed, but we'll get it ready. We always do. and we'll get geared up here. Well, so here it is, and maybe some of you remember us building this thing. It kind of sits like this in the tractor. We got our John Deere Green Star. Not completely sold on that. A couple people have asked me about that. It's quite expensive to get into, and we already have the Outback system. So we're not completely sold on this yet, but it is a good system, so I'm not sure what he'll do. He's got his, and then our planter, sprayer, iPad, planter. Lot going on. All of it needs to get stored. This would probably be okay in the winter. But we've always taken out this, sometimes maybe not in the winter, but this for sure and this for sure have always gotten taken out. And I have to take it off the tractor like this anyways, just to get at these things easier, to take them apart. And we just kind of figured, why not just rip the whole thing out and set it in the house basement like that. And it just frees up the visibility that much better on that tractor. And especially when you're sidewinding up on the bean head, you got to be right up on the head, so you don't want any accidental bumps. So the other thing we're doing today is I've been up at the top of the dry leg. I already mentioned that a couple times. I don't know if I mentioned why. Possibly replacing a gearbox. So that's the other thing we're up to today. But the cab's still kind of dirty. I left the little broom, hand broom, in the combine, and it's not here. So when I get that broom back, I'm gonna sweep it out nice. We've just been in and out of this cab loading trucks, and it's just really dusty, and the windows are all dusty, and the hood needs to be washed. The whole track. You can imagine it's dusty loading the corn. We quick hide it in the shed at night so it doesn't get rained on. So this tractor hasn't seen rain in a long time. So it's not as dirty as it looks. All that corn dust will wash right off. But I mean, it definitely, you know, opens up the cab. So these here, I tried to push them back into the column, but we fought them out of this column. It was like an hour's worth of work, at least, maybe 2. So I might just cut the zip ties off here so it looks cleaner. And I just zip tied them up in the corner there. And then all the rest of the cables from all the monitors, it looks like a mess, but I coil them all up individually based on what they go to, and then just set them right here. So that when we go to get back in the spring, we plug our power sources in, and then we just plug them back in, and we're off and running. But for now, it's hard to beat this visibility for the fall. So this tractor had an oil change this spring before planting. It's probably okay. We'll definitely be checking into it just to, you know, make sure that the oil looks okay and everything. And then we just have to put the front weights back on it. We'll probably put all of them on that we have. And yeah, you can see the corn dust on the front. Corn dust. Huh, I'm tired. But anyways, weights, duals, and then just the normal greasing, check the tires, and get all the hoses are already hooked up from functioning the auger. Just need to get the lights hooked in and ensure that all the lights work. Me personally, I wouldn't mind switching that out for an LED, but we'll see if we get around to that, or if we even can. Not sure if the wiring should, but I wouldn't mind switching that out just for a little brighter fill in the truck sometimes. But these lights are pretty good. You can point one of those like back at the auger, so you can do a pretty good job with those, but it'd be kind of handy, I think. See if we get around to it. So that's really all that's going on today, guys. And this evening I'm going to run some ripper points out to my uncle, and a couple other things to weld on, but that's really all that's going on. I got a busy week. I have a driving school tomorrow, which will be a blast, and then I got to work this end of this week, and then I'm kind of trying to buy a house too. So I got a lot going on, but we're gearing up for harvest. So appreciate everybody watching like always, and be safe, and we'll check you guys later.